Let us start with what is evolution. Evolution is the process by which living organisms evolve from their simpler forms. It means modification from pre-existing forms. So how did humans evolve? Humans evolved from primates. Around 10 to 12 million years ago, the primate lineage split into two major groups which evolved separately. Members of the first group were an early version of what we know as gorillas and chimpanzees. They mostly remained in the forest with an arboreal lifestyle, meaning living in trees. These great apes were quadrupeds, meaning they moved around on all four limbs. The other group of primates evolved differently. They became terrestrial, meaning they lived on land and not on trees. From quadrupeds, they evolved to being bipeds, that is, moving on ground on their hind limbs. In addition to this, the size of their brains increased, and this is the group that evolved and gave rise to the modern humans. The study of fossils to determine the structure and evolution of extinct animals and plants is called paleontology. Paleoanthropology is the branch that is concerned with the origins and developments of only early humans. People who deal with this branch of study are called paleoanthropologists. The evolution of mankind has been broadly classified into 5 stages. Number 1, Australopithecus or the southern apes, which evolved in Africa and they lived between 3 to 5 million years ago. Next were the Homo habilis, who lived between 2.5 to 1.5 million years ago, and they utilized tools made of stone for cutting, chopping and digging. They were also known as the handyman. At this stage of the Homo habilis, they had bigger brains than the southern apes, smaller teeth and almost human-like foot and hand bones. They were also known as the handyman. Next was the stage of the Homo erectus or the upright man, which existed around 1.8 to 2 million years ago. And they were called the upright man because by this stage they could stand straight and walk on their 2 legs, the hind legs. And this stage they used better tools, had much bigger brains than the previous stage of the Homo habilis. The next stage of the Homo neanderthals was also known as the wise man because of their well-developed brains. The Neanderthals made better tools from stone, which they used to hunt down larger animals like mammoths. And the last stage or the 5th stage of evolution of man were the Homo sapiens, which are also known as the thinking man or the modern man. They learned to make and use better tools and weapons. The modern man also started farming and domestication of animals. Now, you might question that how do the anthropologists gather so much of information about the early humans? Well, the evidences or information about early humans are known from the fossils, bones, tools and cave paintings. Fossils are the impressions or imprints of dead animals and plants that existed in the past. The next source of information are the scenes depicted in the cave paintings of early humans, which tell us a lot about their day-to-day activities. Also, a third kind of evidence are the tools. The tools used by the early humans were mainly made of stone, and because of that, this period is known as the Stone Age, because stone was the primary material available to those early humans. Apart from stones, animal bones were also used for making different kinds of tools. Based on the different kinds of tools used by the Stone Age people, this particular period has been classified into different stages. The first stage was known as the Paleolithic Age or the Old Stone Age. During this age, the humans lived in caves or simple huts and were hunters and gatherers. They used basic stone and bone tools, and most of these tools were the crude stone axes for hunting birds and wild animals. The next stage The Mesolithic period or the Middle Stone Age saw a gradual change in weather conditions because the ice sheets began to melt and grasslands emerged. The early humans also started developing. How? There was a significant transition from using large chipped stone tools and hunting in groups of large herd animals to smaller or microliths, as it's called, to smaller chipped stone tools and a more hunter-gatherer culture. It ends with the introduction of growing of crops and rearing of animals in the Neolithic period. The third stage or the Neolithic period, which is also called the New Stone Age, was the final stage of cultural evolution among the prehistoric humans. In this stage, human beings were no longer dependent on hunting, fishing, and gathering of wild plants. Major changes were introduced by the way of agriculture, which affected the human society as it now became organized, and people started engaging themselves in different activities apart from simply hunting and gathering. After the Neolithic age, humans gradually began to make use of different metals to make their tools and weapons, which eventually led to the ages like the Bronze Age, the Copper Age, the Iron Age, which we shall cover in a different module. If this video was helpful, please like, subscribe and share it with your friends.